Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins are facing an early season storm that no one saw coming, and it's centered around one of their brightest stars, TYREEK Hill. Just one game into the 2025 NFL season, and already the Dolphins are grappling with what could be a defining moment for the franchise this year. Their season opener against the Indianapolis Colts was a disaster by any measure, leaving fans, analysts, and even players themselves shaking their heads. The final score of 33-8 barely tells the story of the dysfunction that unfolded on the field, a performance that seemed to highlight both the weaknesses and the growing frustrations within the team. From the first whistle, Miami looked disjointed, unable to execute even the most basic plays, while the Colts looked clinical and methodical, exposing every crack in the Dolphins' armor. Defensively, the picture was even more troubling. Every single possession by Indianapolis ended in points. 7 drives, 7 scores, a defensive collapse that not only embarrassed the team, but made the newly acquired or under-the-radar players look like seasoned all-pros. Daniel Jones, who spent much of his career under scrutiny in New York, suddenly looked untouchable against a defense that has aspirations far beyond the mediocre showing of that first Sunday. The Dolphins' defense, a unit many had hoped would at least provide a backbone for a recovering offense, crumbled spectacularly, leaving fans questioning if this roster was even ready for the season ahead. On the offensive side, the narrative was equally grim. TUA, who enters this season with high expectations and a renewed confidence after a full offseason with his receivers, struggled mightily. 2 interceptions and a lost fumble were the most glaring indicators of a unit struggling to find rhythm, cohesion, and perhaps confidence. But it wasn't just the quarterback play that raised eyebrows. It was the visible frustration of the team's marquee wide receiver, TYREEK Hill. Known for his speed, precision, and ability to turn any play into a game-changing moment, Hill was seen on the sidelines yelling at an assistant coach, an outburst that only added fuel to ongoing rumors about his dissatisfaction in Miami. The sight of Hill, a player who has consistently been one of the NFL's most electrifying talents, visibly frustrated and vocal, immediately sparked conversations among analysts and fans alike. Hill's unhappiness isn't new. It has been a recurring storyline throughout the offseason, but seeing it spill onto the sidelines during the opening week was a stark reminder that not all is well in Miami. Trade speculation around TYREEK Hill has intensified over the last several months, especially as reports about his discontent surfaced. With the 31-year-old receiver coming off several seasons where he maintained elite production, his frustration has become a talking point not just for Dolphins fans, but for the entire league. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported that while Miami did receive calls regarding Hill, the organization has no plans to move him, at least for now. Fowler explained, "Trade rumors around TYREEK Hill will be worth watching. My understanding is that Miami received calls on Hill, but did not show interest in trading him. If the losing persists, perhaps those phone lines open." The Dolphins already exercised Hill's $15.85 million option bonus, leaving a $10 million base salary and $1.8 million in per-game bonuses. The financial commitment the Dolphins have already made to Hill underscores the importance of keeping him on the roster, but it also highlights the tightrope the team must walk if losses continue and morale dips further. The narrative becomes even more intriguing when considering Hill's past with the Kansas City Chiefs, the team where he spent the first 6 seasons of his career. In Kansas City, Hill was instrumental in helping the Chiefs capture Super Bowl 54 in 2019, creating an undeniable legacy that still resonates in the league. A return to Kansas City has been floated as a potential destination, particularly given the Chiefs' ongoing challenges at receiver, including injuries and suspensions. This connection adds a layer of drama to the unfolding story in Miami, as fans speculate whether the team that initially made him a star could once again be calling. Hill's history with the Chiefs, combined with his current frustrations in Miami, makes for a storyline that feels like it could dominate headlines for weeks, especially if the Dolphins' struggles continue. Hill's own comments provide further insight into his mindset. After the final game of last season, he candidly told ESPN, "I'm out, bruh. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for my career." Those words resonate now more than ever, particularly after the lopsided loss to the Colts. It's clear that Hill is weighing his options and considering what environment will allow him to compete at the highest level while also feeling valued and respected. The tension between Hill's individual ambitions and the Dolphins' organizational goals has set the stage for a high-stakes scenario. If Miami wants to salvage the season, they must not only address systemic issues on offense and defense, but also navigate the delicate task of keeping a superstar satisfied amid adversity. As the Dolphins prepare to host the New England Patriots on Sunday, the team faces more than just another opponent. They are confronting a pivotal moment that could define the season. Every decision, from play calling to personnel management, and perhaps even trade considerations, carries extra weight given the volatile mix of early season losses, star player frustration, and heightened media scrutiny. A win against the Patriots could act as a pressure release valve, calming speculation and reassuring fans that the team can still perform at a high level. Conversely, another loss could escalate the drama, prompting serious conversations about leadership, roster construction, and whether Tyreek Hill's frustration could eventually lead to a trade scenario that the Dolphins have resisted thus far. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the narrative is already compelling enough to draw interest from even casual NFL observers. While much of the focus has naturally been on Hill, it's impossible to ignore the broader context of Miami's struggles. The defense's inability to stop the Colts on every possession raises questions about scheme, talent evaluation, and the coaching staff's capacity to adjust mid-game. Offensively, Tagovailoa's performance reflects either an ongoing adjustment period with new personnel or deeper systemic issues that require attention. The interaction between Hill and the assistant coach on the sidelines symbolizes a broader cultural challenge, managing the egos, expectations, and frustrations of elite talent while trying to build a cohesive team. This delicate balance is one that franchises often struggle with, and Miami's first-game debacle highlights just how precarious the situation can become when early losses meet high expectations. The Dolphins' financial commitment to Hill, coupled with his elite production when healthy, suggests that Miami will do everything possible to maintain the relationship for at least the foreseeable future. Yet the league is full of examples where player frustration, if unaddressed, can metastasize into trade. Rumors, locker room tension, and even public disputes. Fans, media analysts, and rival teams are all watching closely, waiting to see if Miami can stabilize both the locker room and on-field performance. The upcoming matchup against the Patriots may serve as the first real test of whether the Dolphins' leadership can manage the storm while keeping their superstar engaged, motivated, and, most importantly, productive. The implications go beyond just one game. They could set the tone for the entire season. In the end, the situation in Miami encapsulates everything that makes the NFL compelling: elite talent, high stakes, dramatic personalities, and the constant push-pull between individual ambition and team success. Tyreek Hill is at the center of it all, a player whose brilliance can elevate a team, but whose frustration could also destabilize it if left unchecked. The Dolphins, with their high hopes and early setbacks, must navigate this treacherous path carefully. The season is just beginning, but already the narrative is gripping, the stakes are sky-high, and the outcome remains far from certain. Every move, every game, and every decision in the coming weeks will matter, and fans are already bracing for what promises to be a roller coaster of emotion, speculation, and drama in the Magic City. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? Man, the NFL world is buzzing right now. And if you thought things were settling down after last week's whirlwind of games and headlines, think again, because this latest saga is sending shockwaves through locker rooms, social media, and fantasy football groups everywhere. The drama kicked off in a way that only the NFL can deliver. A bold, maybe even slightly reckless, statement from Tyreek Hill that, unsurprisingly, didn't sit well with anyone. And it certainly didn't sit well with TUA Tagovailoa. The moment the words hit the airwaves, you could feel the tension rise. Analysts were quick to speculate, fans immediately picked sides, and if Twitter is any measure of public sentiment, the league has officially caught fire. And when TUA finally responded, let's just say the fire turned into a full-blown inferno. It all began with Tyreek Hill, who, in a recent interview, made a comment that many are calling brash and unapologetically confident. He suggested that certain quarterbacks in the league simply don't have what it takes to elevate their teams in high-pressure situations, and he dropped enough names that fans immediately tried to decode whether Tua Tagovailoa was the target or maybe someone else entirely. Of course, with TYREEK, you never quite know if he's trolling, testing the waters, or actually staking a claim that he believes to be truth. Either way, social media erupted. Memes, heated debates, gifs of iconic Tua moments, and, as always, people digging up TYREEK's stats from last season. Because, of course, nothing is complete without a numbers fight. And then Tua's response came, not in a press conference, not in a dry social media post, but in the kind of statement that makes sports journalists' hearts race. He fired back, measured yet undeniably pointed, asserting that he's aware of his capabilities and that no outside voice, no matter how loud or famous, can define what he brings to the field. His words were sharp but dignified, the kind that immediately put him in the center of the narrative and sent the rumor mill into overdrive. Every word was dissected, measured, poised, confident, became the buzzwords of the day. Clips of his games, particularly clutch moments where he carried his team under intense pressure, began resurfacing on social media, almost as if the fans themselves were jumping into the verbal ring to defend their quarterback. The drama escalated quickly because, let's be honest, nothing in the NFL exists in isolation. TYREEK, of course, didn't let the comment slide. He doubled down, reiterating his original stance with a flair that screams showmanship. And now, the league has an actual narrative, a showdown of egos, skills, and perception. Everyone from pundits to casual fans is weighing in. Analysts are debating endlessly whether this is a genuine clash of talent versus talent, or if it's the classic media-fueled spectacle that thrives on heated exchanges and viral headlines. The beauty, if you want to call it that, is that we might never know the full story behind the statements. Intent, timing, and context all blend into a perfect storm for speculation. Rumors have started swirling about what this could mean in the locker room. Insiders suggest that players are taking sides quietly. Some are rallying behind Tua, citing his poise under pressure and leadership qualities, while others, perhaps inspired by TYREEK's audacity, are quietly amused and intrigued by the spectacle. Coaches are supposedly having private conversations, trying to ensure that personal conflicts don't spill onto the field, because while these verbal exchanges make for thrilling headlines, the last thing any team wants is distractions affecting performance during critical games. Yet, the fact that insiders are even talking about it shows just how much attention this back and forth is grabbing. The NFL thrives on narrative, and this story has all the elements: a confident superstar, a rising quarterback refusing to be defined, and a media ecosystem eager to fan the flames. The timing couldn't be more intense either. As the season ramps up, every performance is magnified. Every pass Tua throws is being analyzed through the lens of this showdown, and every highlight TYREEK produces is scrutinized for hidden digs or subtle messaging. Social media is a frenzy, with highlight reels, fan reactions, and even parody accounts adding fuel to the fire. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, there's not a corner of the internet untouched by the drama. And let's not ignore the fantasy football angle, because in 2025, no NFL controversy is complete without fantasy implications. Analysts are predicting how this tension might affect performance, with some arguing that Tua will thrive under the added spotlight, while others suggest that the distraction could alter his focus in crucial moments. Every angle is being debated, every nuance is being dissected. Meanwhile, sportsbooks are noticing a spike in bets. Fans are placing wagers not only on game outcomes, but also on potential micro-events tied to this narrative. Will Tua hit over 300 passing yards against a top defense? Will TYREEK make a pivotal play that seems like a direct response to media chatter? The league may not officially comment on such exchanges, but the ripple effects are felt across multiple layers of football culture, from casual fans watching highlights after work to analysts planning multi-hour breakdowns on sports networks. The spectacle is as much about performance as it is about perception, and in the NFL, perception can sometimes weigh as heavily as stats. The rumor mill is operating at full throttle. Some whisper that this isn't just about pride. It could affect trades, locker room dynamics, and even endorsement deals. Imagine if sponsors start considering off-field narratives alongside performance stats in contract negotiations. This back and forth could have ripple effects far beyond the next Sunday game. And while Tua has handled himself with a level of calm professionalism, you can almost hear the collective exhale of fans and analysts alike when they wonder what, if anything, comes next. Will there be a face-to-face meeting? A post-game handshake that is loaded with unspoken tension? Or will it all simmer down to yet another chapter in NFL media lore, dissected endlessly but never fully resolved? At the end of the day, what's undeniable is the sheer energy this moment has generated. TYREEK's statement, Tua's measured rebuttal, the subsequent fan and analyst frenzy. It's a perfect storm that reminds everyone why the NFL is more than just a sport. It's culture, drama, narrative, and spectacle all rolled into one. And for those of us watching, it's impossible to look away. Every tweet, every highlight, every analyst take adds a layer to a story that will likely be remembered as one of the defining verbal showdowns of the season. Whether this escalates into something tangible on the field or remains a war of words, the league has captured global attention. And if there's one thing history teaches us, it's that in the NFL, today's controversy often becomes tomorrow's legend, and fans will be talking about this Tua versus TYREEK saga for months to come, dissecting every nuance, celebrating every comeback, and debating who truly came out on top in this clash of pride, skill, and perception. So buckle up, because the NFL is officially on fire. Tua Tagovailoa has made it clear he's not backing down. Tyreek Hill has doubled down, and the rumor mill is spinning faster than ever. Every week from here on out will carry an undercurrent of tension, every play a potential headline, and every post-game interview a chance for new sparks to fly. And honestly, for fans of drama, skill, and storytelling, it doesn't get any better than this. Because the league isn't just about touchdowns or tackles anymore. It's about personalities, confrontations, and narratives that transcend the field. The only question left is, how far will this go before the NFL intervenes? Or will the fire continue to burn, fueled by social media, speculation, and the undeniable charisma of two of the league's most compelling figures? Either way, one thing is crystal clear. Tua Tagovailoa rebounding like this? That's a headline no one's ignoring. And Tyreek Hill? Well, he's made sure this season will be talked about long after the final whistle blows. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.